Hello everyone. So behind me here today, I have my favorite Venn diagram. I have used this Venn diagram at every single conference I have spoken to since the COVID pandemic. Why? Because this diagram is a very powerful visualization of the forces, the primary driving forces that are shaping and fueling the momentum around us that is pushing us towards a very distinct post-COVID reality that we see in this wealth and talent migration. So why do I have this Venn diagram here today? Well, of late in the news, we've had some events that are very much in corroboration of this thesis, and in particular of the empire cycles portion of the Venn diagram. So I've put forth this thesis that we are in fact currently in the middle of this Venn diagram with three forces overlapping and pushing us forward towards a new reality. Well, the empire cycles portion is one that pertains to, again, the natural cycles of empires. Nothing is forever. Everything goes in a cycle, including the American empire. And the current phase of the empire that we're in is one that is characterized by increasing internal disorder. Ray Dalio has also spoken about this at length. So we have increased polarization of wealth gap, belief systems, all of these things. And I've been saying that these forces are what's pushing the wealth and talent migration. This is why, in recognition of this, I felt confident in saying that long Miami is a very real thing and that history will not go backwards. So in corroboration of this growing internal disorder, we've had some events in the news. And again, I find no personal joy in pointing out that I was right in seeing the realities of this phase of the empire. It is what it is. And if we recognize this, we can align ourselves physically along with the path of innovation and entrepreneurship in a good place that will be on the upswing for the next 20 years. But I digress. Okay, so what has happened recently in the news that corroborates this? Well, of course, we've had some firsts here in the American empire. May 30th, for the first time ever, a former president was indicted of a felony, or felonies plural in this case. Shortly thereafter, less than 2 weeks after, June 11th, the first time ever in American history, a sitting president's child was convicted of a crime. And then, of course, shortly thereafter, July 13th, we have the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump and he's a current presidential candidate. And I think this may be the first time that there was an attempt on a current candidate's life. So all of this is in accordance with what I've been saying as the sort of Brazil path that we're on. I believe that from now on, all former, current, future candidates will at some point be tried for crimes. It's just the phase of the empire that we are in. And again, this is this portion of the Venn diagram. The other portions of the Venn diagram, of course, tech adoption. And I've talked about how COVID-19 has broken habits long enough to allow the adoption of new ones, including redesigning life for those who can around the internet. And then, of course, we have wars and pandemics themselves, which cause these restrictions on people, which then also usher in periods of change. So as I've been putting forth, where we stand today, historically speaking, we're in the middle of the Venn diagram. And recent events coming in are corroborating, well, at the very least, the realities of the current phase of our empire and the growing internal disorder, which will just keep, that disorder will fuel the polarization, again, of wealth gap and belief systems. And now people are moving in accordance with their belief systems, and we will continue to see increasingly incompatible realities coexisting across our nation. Of course, we saw also recently Elon Musk announced that he's moving headquarters from California to Texas because he disagrees with Governor Newsom's stance on the rights or lack thereof of children and their parents in schools, all sorts of things. So this is just those incompatibilities of belief systems that are driving people. Now, it's also important to recognize that it is the blue states that are heavy lockdown the pattern is very clear. They're the ones hemorrhaging population and hemorrhaging actual taxpayers, which in the case of New York, they're replacing with migrants who are net takers. So all of this, again, is going to fuel these incompatibilities across our nation. These things will accelerate as budget gaps accelerate in certain places. Hostilities towards capital will only accelerate in these blue states that are losing population. And again, recent events it is what it is. Alas, they're corroborating the thesis. So when it comes to history, 5, 10, 20 years is a rounding error. Who can predict past there? I don't know. But I believe this will all play out over the next 5, 10, 20 years. And while we can't be super precise, all we can do is align ourselves with the flow of prosperity and entrepreneurship, which is always alive and well. That's why I've been saying that long America equals long Miami. The will to create entrepreneurship, the American spirit, it'll flow towards the places of least resistance. And I believe that South Florida is one of those places.